Well, I'm joined by the former head of the Israeli Defense Forces Intelligence Research Division, Yosef Kuperwasser. A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. What we saw unfold in Israel last week, exactly a week ago, has been attributed to a huge failing in Israeli intelligence and security. What went wrong?
Well, a lot has gone wrong. First of all, I think the first thing is that we fell into this trap of believing that we are living next to a civilized neighbor, which is not the case. This is a radical, fanatic Islamic group, very much like ISIS, that is committed to kill all Jews, especially those who live in Israel. And that is just, according to Islamic ideology, is keeping itself under some constraints when it feels that it is weak, but whenever it feels prepared enough, it's going to launch an attack, and that's what they did. And we thought that they are deterred, and we thought that we can work out arrangements with them, and that they have now become more concentrated on improving the conditions of the living conditions of the people of Gaza, and that when we allowed money coming in, and when we allowed workers coming out from Gaza to Israel, 18,000 recently, this will convince them to provide us the calm we were looking for. This was a big mistake. And it was a mistake of the intelligence, and not only of the intelligence. Secondly, we were under the impression that because in the last confrontation we had with Hamas back in 2021, we managed to take care of all the tools they were trying to use, the rockets, the tunnels, the underground tunnels, the air capabilities, and the naval capabilities that they had. We thought that now they're not going to have a way to operate, and that's why we can be complacent. And the fact was just the opposite. They, of course, in this learning competition, they were ahead of us and came up with an idea that made it possible for them to overcome all the obstacles we have put on the field. And we didn't know about the exact plan, and that's why we were totally unprepared. And thirdly, we didn't have enough information that would tell us on the night when it happened that something like that is happening. And we, again, were caught by surprise. This is terrible for us, and but we have to recuperate fast, and that's what we are doing, and move on the offensive and learn the lesson. We cannot live next to Hamas, and the lesson from this brutal, monstrous attack is that we just cannot allow for Hamas to keep living next to us, and we have to defeat Hamas decisively, and make sure that Hamas is not anymore the ruler of Gaza and is not able to commit such terror attacks against Israelis anymore. That's what we are trying to do right now. We don't want to hit the population of Gaza. That's why we are telling them to leave the area.
Okay.
The United States uses them as human shields. We want them to go out, so that we should be able to fight Hamas and defeat it.
Before we get on to the reality of your objectives of attempting to defeat Hamas in the way that we are seeing unfold in Gaza, I just want to ask you another question regarding IDF intelligence, given that that is your background. The Israeli Defense Forces have said that there's 120 Israeli hostages currently in Gaza. Are you confident that Israel's intelligence will have some idea of where they are?
No, I'm not confident. I'm sure they're going to make a very big effort, but I'm not confident that these efforts are going to be successful, because they are well hidden, and the Hamas has just proven how good they are in securing their secretive information, and so it's not going to be easy. We are definitely going to make a big effort, and I hope we are going to be successful. But confident, I'm not.
And Mr. Kuperwasser, in terms of the violence that we've seen unfold in the last week, violence breeds violence. You say that you want to just destroy Hamas. Israel says that it wants a new future, a new reality for Gaza. But does violence like this not just breed more fundamentalism? Do you need a new approach here when it comes to de-escalation and peace talks?
No, I think on the contrary. I think what we were witnessing is an effort by the axis of radicalism and fanaticism in the Middle East, led by Iran, together with Hezbollah and Hamas, to, as they say, to change the equation. They were under the impression that everything is going their way. The West was showing such a weak performance vis-a-vis the Iranian strengthening, including the nuclear program, including the regional efforts, the regional hegemony that they were gaining, including the way they were treating their civilians, their population themselves, including the support they gave to Russia with the UAVs. They were under the impression that the West is extremely weak, and this is the time to take action against Israel. Was weak too, because Israel was showing weakness at home and in the way it treated Hezbollah in the last year, starting with the gas deal with Lebanon. So they were under the impression that now it's the time to take advantage of that and change the equation and bring about the very good time for it.
Yosef Kuperwasser, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much for joining us.